Hello, gorgeous Geminis. Welcome to November 2019, a pretty powerful place for gems for many, many reasons. November is a symbolic threshold for you and for connecting in with ease, honestly, ease. Now, this month has a lot going on. Probably the prime thing you're going to hear about is that there's a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, and that's happening all the way through November until the 18th. We have that retrograde going on, and if you're interested, I'm doing a discussion about that over on my Patreon. So if you want to go deep diving with me, that is where you will find that info. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. But Scorpio energy with gems, you guys have a really deep connection with this energy. You are both analytical signs. You're both very good at digging in to the bones of ideas, identity, all of this stuff. Very intellectual energies. If you're a Gemini rising, then Scorpio is also going to be your house of your body. And one of the first energies that came up for me when I was sitting thinking about you all was your physical being and where you feel tension and resistance. And it doesn't just have to be for Gem risings. This is for anybody with Gemini energy. Releasing the resistance in your body, noticing where you're clenched up, where you're feeling tightness, unwellness, separation from your natural state of wellness, from your natural state of deep breathing, ability to breathe all the way through your belly, the ability to feel like weightless in your shoulders, the ability to walk upright, all of these things that, we start to let tension and resistance to life and stress about life tense our bodies up. And it's really subtle, and it kind of happens over time. And this month you may be noticing is a month where, especially with the Mercury retrograde working at you, that you're noticing where that tension is. And you're noticing that you're being asked to let it go. Take a breath and let it go. Take a breath and let it go. Because when you're holding yourself tight like that, you're physically resisting feeling well. And you're also emotionally deep down resisting the ease of things. And because here's the thing, you have the ability to think very quickly. We've talked about this before, but you have the ability to think very quickly and come up with ideas, come up with solutions, come up with different concepts of things, right? Which is great. But often those mental loops that we get in have very limited ability to give us answers, to give us wisdom, right? And the Mercury retrograde this month is going to take the ability to overanalyze and overthink and pull us back into the mystic waters to listen in to our soul voice, to our wild, natural way of moving through the world. It's going to kind of take away the ability to overanalyze and over-articulate. We don't need to be doing that this month. And here's what's really interesting as well for gems during the month of November and moving with kind of a thought into December. This is the last month of Jupiter in Sagittarius, your opposing sign. And Jupiter in Sagittarius has been really, really intense. We've been expanding at levels that we only see once every 12 or 13 years with that. Four of Wands. All right, I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. And in your relationship house, in your opposing sign, it has been a time for deep learning when it comes to relationship, right? So this last month of Jupiter in Sagittarius, along with the Mercury retrograde in your physical house energy, it's kind of like a final farewell. Just as I said that, death came out. A final farewell to how you have maybe done relationships in the past, or maybe how you have held yourself. How you have held yourself when it comes to relating, when it comes to expressing. Okay, a whole bunch of cards wanted to come out. Empress, Ace of Pentacles, Seven of Swords, Five of Cups. Yeah. Like I said, we're diving deep this month. Just taking you back into anywhere where you weren't feeling authentic. where you weren't feeling like you were doing things out of a place of actually wanting to do them. Hanged Man. Let's pull one more. And then let me talk about the moons really quick within the concept of this whole gateway month for gems, and this whole relaxing in, easing in month for gems. We have a full moon in your 12th house in Taurus, 10 of Wands. Okay, I'm gonna pull one more actually, because what's after 10, right? We gotta have something past the 10 of Wands, but there's that release again. Page of Swords, there's my gems, right back in action. Okay, you have a full moon in your 12th house. And a full moon in a 12th house like that is going to take you to some really deep spiritual places, some really deep spiritual spots. I would definitely recommend, gems, that you take some extra time on that full moon. Some full moons are going to hit you more intensely than others. And the Taurus full moon is one that I think will hit a little bit more intensely. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind as you are working through this month. And then we also have a new moon in Sagittarius in your opposing sign, and as we get close to the end of the month, we're getting into your mirror season, which just means, I called it that, the sun is starting to transit through your opposing sign, and so it's mirror season because we have everything on the opposite side of the sky, right? So you're seeing your identity and your way of moving through the world in that lens, in that opposing lens. It helps you see yourself with fresh eyes, and that can be sometimes really challenging because it's like you have to look at your reflection and see, you know, what is working, what is not, being really honest with yourself about what you want to keep doing and what you don't. And that will continue into December, but we're beginning it here in November. Okay, so all those things to keep in mind. Let's talk through these cards because you have some pretty heavy hitting energy, gems. And I'm not surprised because we're trying to get you reconnected to wellness, to what is working, and to release old narratives. Not try to write new narratives, just relax into maybe a bit of a narrative-free environment just for a little bit in order to allow a rush of new information to come through you and help you see what it is that's working for you moving forward. Because here's the thing, we start with the Four of Wands, right? This is an indicator that on your path in life, you are meant to be in this jubilant state. And you may even be finding that really positive things are happening as November begins. You are getting deeper in that relationship. You are doing well in work. You are feeling that release of tension and feeling that you can relax in and ease in, and you're learning how to do that. Four of Wands is very culminating. You know, it gives you this boost of energy in a happy part of your life, where you feel you've come full circle, where you feel like you've created something and you're somewhere where there is a point of celebration, of ritual, coming in and warming your life up. Of course, we have the oppositional here, right, of Death and Empress. This is the Scorpio-Taurus cards, and we do have a Taurus full moon during Scorpio season, and that moon is going to be extremely powerful for you. But, you know, these aren't opposites, even though they're opposing signs, right? These are not opposites. These are one and the same. They work together. They are part of the same energetic system. The death, the closeout, is just as much a birth. And during this time, there's something going on with you all that has to do with easing into what is good for you and not taking the hard way. And then as you're easing into it, because the Empress is all about ease, and actually Death is too. Death is about ease. They're both about the ease of things moving and transforming. There's always the next step. There's always the next horizon. There's always the next wave. And with that ease, you know, it can often feel like you're missing a step if you're used to overanalyzing, if you're used to holding yourself rigid before things work out, feeling that in holding yourself rigid, somehow you are helping control the outcome. You may feel that you're missing a step, that this is too easy, this is too simple, this is too direct, this is too forward motion. There's not enough to analyze. There's not enough to pick apart and re-puzzle. Where's all the fluff and the noise? Well, this is part of being in the waters of life. And you don't have to judge not having things to analyze. You don't have to judge not feeling tension in your body. When we hold tension in our body, when we're holding tension and resistance and we're feeling that fear, deep down that's a feeling of unworthiness, whether that's to call that friend or to do that job or to take up that space or to ask for what you want. Deep down there's a clenching there because there's a fear that there's no worthiness. And if we're not holding tight to our mask, to our analyzation of everything, our analysis of everything, that somehow we're going to miss a step. But everything about these first 4 cards is about ease and flow. So you may be finding that actually, even though it's a Mercury retrograde, once again works a little differently than other Mercury retrogrades in Scorpio. Things are moving into your life, right? Positive, big, bold things are moving into your life. You've got some major abundance going on here. And like I said, all 4 of these cards are very simple. This is the next right thing. This is for you. Just take the step. Don't worry about analyzing it, right? So boom. You guys are getting a huge infusion of energy, of fresh energy, of clarity, of knowing, of connection, of celebration, of positivity, of hope, of clarity. And then, my gorgeous Gemini friends, that part of yourself that's worried that if you're not on the lookout all the time for what can go wrong, that things will go wrong, is going to ping up a little bit. I'm kind of seeing that, and that's where these cards come in. And there's a practice going on here that I think is so empowering for you. Because if you look at the next 4 cards, this is what's really interesting. We have 7 of Swords, we have 5 of Cups, we have Hanged Man, we have 10 of Wands. Okay, so you see those 3 cards around the Hanged Man. Those are all states of being where there is a sense that things should be different than they are right now. I'm just going to struggle through this. I'm going to hurt through this. I'm going to get paranoid. I'm going to mourn. I'm going to grieve. I'm going to carry the weight, right? And then there's the Hanged Man, who is easy. And I mean, the Hanged Man is strung up by his foot. There is an angry mob staring at him and jeering at him. You know, life isn't necessarily, physical life isn't necessarily some paradise for him, but he is easing into it, right? I'm not telling you to just be like, yep, things are crappy, I'm going to think negatively. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, though, is that the Hanged Man is the message. So, and it's all in your mind. These are all mental states. These are all ways of forming your reality around you. And you are getting reworked to release extra narratives that are making things harder, where it's like it's like you're setting yourself up for a dressage course unnecessarily, when you could just walk one foot in front of the other. You're like, I'm going to put a saddle on myself. I'm going to put some hurdles here, there, and there. I'm going to get dressed up in like a horse outfit. I'm going to make myself jump over the hurdles. And then maybe I'll deserve what it is that's around me. That is the 7 of Swords in so many ways. You know, you may be feeling a little bit worried because things are starting to make sense. Things are working. Well, what happens if I'm not looking around? What happens if I'm not preparing myself and stealing the weapons from my friends, or not friends, my enemies, or stealing, holding myself against anything that could come up, right? What if I stop grieving? What if I release? What if I turn around and face those 2 full cups? What if that's just me being lazy? What if that's just me missing something that I'm supposed to be learning? What if I haven't put enough penance into what it is that I feel that I need to have penance for? What if I put down all of these sticks and nothing ever gets done again, and I don't make enough money, and I'm not enough, and everybody finds out that I'm a fake? What if? These narratives can be really, really, really sneaky too, because they often, start off reasonable, rational, grounded. Well, I need to make sure that I stay on point because I have to get this stuff done because I have a deadline. Okay, it starts there. But you notice how it snowballs a little bit? Then it starts to become, if I don't get that done, everything's going to fall apart. I'm not going to have value. I'm not going to have worth. It always goes a little deeper. It always goes to that mythical and not real bookkeeper, energetic bookkeeper. This guy does not exist, but most people walk around with this guy on their shoulder. This guy has his little ledger, and there's a value for everything that can be added or deducted from your account. And you know, if you get things done on time or you think through things enough, you know, you get some points. That's the way that this works. And if you don't do things on time, or you don't mourn enough, or you don't then you get deducted points. Now, of course, it's actually the total opposite. There is no man, first of all, keeping score. Also, in relaxing and letting yourself move through things in a natural pace, you're honoring yourself. And actually, it's much easier to get more done because you're not torturing yourself energetically. And also, you know, there's no added value in self-torture, right? There's no actual points that you get for doing that. So the Hanged Man is your lesson this month. And the thing is that it's always been meant to be easy, crisp, and clear. Page of Swords. Page of Swords, easy, crisp, and clear. Yes, this energy can be a bit combative. It can be speak before you think. It can be a little bit devil may care, right? It can be very perceived as risk-taking, right? But to me, this is like the Gemini nature when you all are free and you're in your free-spirited state. You're mutable air. And so when you are in a state of relaxation, when you aren't feeling the rigidness and the resistance and the stress that can sometimes build up with your ruling planet Mercury like that. So those retrogrades are really good for Mercury-ruled signs. You and Virgo both benefit from a little retrograde every few months, I think, because actually, gems, you know, your ability to connect ideas, to move through the world with joy and curiosity is amplified so much more when you don't have that feeling of nervous overanalyzation, when you don't have that feeling of having to do everything a specific way. And so this is actually a very freeing month for you because it's asking you to release that and to just trust that, yeah, things are supposed to be this simple. The answers are supposed to be this simple. You know, knowing that you need to stop texting that person because it just doesn't feel good anymore. It feels icky. It's clear, it's simple, it's easy. And it's okay. You don't have to hold that. You don't have to like give it a value and say it's right or it's wrong. Same with like work projects or just your daily schedule or how you feel about yourself if you wake up 30 minutes later than you planned, you know, and not judging it. And this is all about the releasement of judgment of self, release of judgment about your body and your physical space, release of judgment about your timelines, and release of judgment about what you think you're supposed to be doing, right? So this is all the stuff that's coming up for you this month. And yes, that does sound like a lot, right? But I just want you to remember that the whole logic of this month and the whole logic of the energy is to release the judgment, right? It's supposed to be supportive of you. It's supposed to be easy and kind to you. It is not supposed to be just painful. It is really, truly meant to be soft and kind. Okay, so I have some affirmations for my loves, my gems out there, and here they are for the month of November. I relax all of my muscles and release any tension to allow a feeling of connectedness into my body. I trust my body and my soul to give me crisp, clear directions. I slow down enough to let inner intelligence help me make decisions for my greatest good. There is clarity here, there is warmth here, there is joy here. And it really can be simple. It really can be quiet and quite seamless and elegant without all of the bells and whistles and the fanciness of going around in the little circus, the little dressage arena. We don't have to do that. And I promise you, you'll still be worthy and things will still work out. This is some leading edge stuff right here, my friends. And like I said, you can find my deeper discussion of the Mercury retrograde over on my Patreon. I would love to see you over there. We're going to have a lot of fun deep diving, and I'm still planning on doing those spooky life stories. Of course, I also do my weekly astro write-ups, and there's always some materials for you guys over there. You can also find me on Instagram at SARAHTAROT. I haven't opened up my 2020 appointment calendar yet, but I am going to have an email notification list. So if you want to be included, please email me and I will include you so you know when my calendar opens and you can book your session with me. I'd love to work with you. So I'll leave all of that info in the description box. And of course, I'm wearing my lovely, beautiful PinkLune jewelry. You can find all of her magical creations and her altar pieces and the stones that she has on her Etsy site. So I will leave that link below as well. I'm sending you all so much love for this beautiful month of harmony and ease, and I will see you in December for more mirror season for the Gemini clan. Have a beautiful November. Mwah.